Have you ever taken a photo, looked at the screen and thought, that looks great, only to get home and realize it's a total mess? We've all done it. Your camera has a secret built-in tool that tells you the truth about your exposure, even when the LCD screen is giving you a false impression. It's called the histogram, and once you understand it, you'll never be in the dark about exposure again. Welcome back, and if you're new here, my goal is to educate, inspire, and empower your photography one video at a time. Here's something most photographers don't realize. Your camera's light meter is designed to measure everything based on mid-gray. That means if you shoot a snow scene or a black cat at night, it'll try and expose them both the same and get it wrong. The histogram is the tool that helps you override that guesswork and take control. And if this is something you're into and you want to keep building your skills, why not download your copy of my photography ebook? It's full of simple, practical tips you can use straight away, totally free when you sign up to my monthly newsletter, and that's linked for you below. So what is a histogram? Let's break it down. A histogram is a graph that shows you the distribution of brightness, also called tonal values, across your image. Every photo contains light, dark, and mid-tone information. The histogram simply maps that out from pure black on the far left to pure white on the far right. On the left-hand side, we have the shadows. On the far right, we have the highlights. And in the middle, we have the midtones. Skin tones, soft light, and most natural lighting typically live within the midtones. The midtones. I think I've got the first album. Anyway, if you ever wondered why a bright scene looks dull in camera or why a dark shot looks weirdly bright, this is why, and here's what to watch out for. A spike on the left edge means that you have crushed shadows and no detail in those shadows. A spike on the right edge means totally blown highlights. Again, no detail in those highlights. A natural looking mountain range that stays within the bounds equates to a healthy exposure. This matters because your LCD screen lies. Well, not really. However, in bright sunlight, the screen looks darker than in reality. Indoors, it may look overly bright. If you tilt it or change brightness settings, you get a totally different feel. The histogram is purely objective. It shows you exactly what your sensor recorded, not just what the screen shows. When you use it consistently, you'll start getting more accurate exposures, especially in mixed or difficult lighting. Let's help make this stick with an analogy. What if we thought of the histogram like a bank statement? It doesn't show you the items you bought, but it shows you where your money went. Too many withdrawals, you're overspending. Everything balanced, you're managing your budget well. Overspent in one category, you're at risk. It's basically the same with exposure. If all your data is pushed to the highlights, you're blowing out detail. If it's all in the shadows, you lose in shadow texture. And if it's nicely spread across, you're exposing with control. When you learn to read the histogram, you're reading your camera's financials and deciding if the shot is on budget or not, if that makes sense. If you have a bright white scene, your camera's light meter says this is too bright and darkens it. Then your snow turns grey and your white dress is underexposed. The histogram will lean towards the middle or the left. To fix this, either add exposure compensation, or if you're shooting in manual, increase your exposure to gently shift the histogram right, but not so far that you clip the highlights. With a dark scene, the camera sees too much shadow and brightens everything. The result is a flat grey cat, and nobody wants that. There's no mood, no subtlety. The histogram will falsely lean to the right or to the middle. To fix it, reduce the exposure and keep blacks dark and preserve that shadow detail. Let the histogram lean left without hitting the edge. If you have a high contrast scene, for example a sunset with trees in silhouette, you've naturally got bright highlights and dark shadows. The histogram shows a double peak, one left, one right, with very few midtones. In this situation, it's up to you, your choice. You could expose for the sky and let the trees go dark, which would be my choice, or expose for the shadows and risk losing the color in the sky. Or maybe bracket exposures and blend the images together later in post-production. The histogram doesn't make the choice, that's your job. It only shows you what's happening, so you can then choose with intent. It's simply a tool to help you make those choices. Now, how about a bonus tip as a reward for sticking around? Most cameras default to a luminance histogram, a simple view of brightness. But for full control, it's a good idea to enable the RGB histogram, which shows separate graphs for red, green and blue. This is crucial when shooting colourful subjects like sunsets, stage lighting or neon signs. Why? Because sometimes the overall brightness looks fine, but maybe the red channel is blown out, and you won't know unless you're looking at the RGB histogram. If any colour channel hits the right edge of the histogram and flattens, that colour's detail is gone, unrecoverable even in RAW. So to combat this, turn on the RGB histogram in your camera's display settings. It's usually found in playback or live view settings. The RGB histogram can be a lifesaver for colour accuracy, and most photographers never even turn it on. The histogram isn't just a graph, it's your truth detector. It removes guesswork, helps you expose with intent, and gives you consistent results no matter what the subject or the lighting. So the next time you're out with your camera, don't only trust your screen, keep an eye on your histogram and make exposure decisions on purpose. If this helped you feel more confident about using the histogram, or if you learned something new, make sure to hit like and subscribe. Your support really is appreciated. And don't forget to download your free ebook below. It'll help you build your skills and confidence. And if you want more help with your photography, why not check this one out next? And I'd love to know, have you ever saved a shot or lost one because of what the histogram told you? Share your story in the comments. I read every single one. Thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.